Hello, I'm John Schneider. As a kid, I'd come to the New Jersey Bayshore to visit my Grandma Vi and take home movies of what I saw. Today I live here, produce video documentaries, and recently shot this boat at night with my video camera. Where is the Jersey Bayshore? Well, let's start with the big picture. It's somewhere in here, part of the universe, and it's definitely part of our world. But it's like no place I've ever experienced. And as soon as we land, I'll show you around. Welcome to Jersey Bayshore country. Today, our history and photographs. Well, here is the Memorial Day Parade in 1947 on Bay Avenue in Highlands, New Jersey. And you see that soldier carrying the American flag on the right? That's my dad, George Schneider. And these are our home movies. Today, I am so excited. We have Les Horner, who is going to share with us some of his rare photographs from some of the towns in the Bayshore area. Les Horner, he's on Facebook, Memories of New Jersey. It's such a great program. Let's meet him now. Well, I'm so thrilled to have with me today someone who has an extensive collection. Would you call it extensive?
Yes, over 7,000 photos. I guess that's extensive.
7,000 photographs, historical photographs of not only the Jersey Bayshore area, but how extensive geographically does your collection go?
Monmouth County stretches quite a ways, and just all of Monmouth County and some Ocean County.
That's unbelievable. And we just have a few here that we're going to share of some of the towns in this area. We were just talking before we went on camera here about the fact that you just don't see many movies anymore, do you, of the old stuff, even though we know that New Jersey was a hot spot for some of the early filmmakers.
Like I say, they're hidden in somebody's attic or in a basement in a box, and someday they'll show up. Someday they'll show up.
Well, how do you told me a story over the phone about how you get these, how you obtain these photographs, and you told me about one where you went through somebody's garbage here.
Yeah, I met a man years back by the name of Al Bennett who lived in Keyport, and Al was a black and white photographer, and he was a collector of historical photographs, and he's the one that got me started. And I mentioned to you about how I got a lot of the photos. One set of photos, there's one in this batch here that you'll find, of the Keyport Fire Department 50th anniversary. I believe it was 1921. A lady called me one day on the phone, and she said, "Mr. Horner," she said, "you collect old photos?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "Well, I just passed a house on Broad Street in Keyport, and in the garbage can there's a lot of old photos taped to a piece of cardboard. I thought you might be interested." So I jumped in my car. I was living in Hazle at the time. And I ran down there, and sure enough, they were there. And there was about a dozen photos that were taken by some photographer throughout the town of Keyport during that parade. And as I said, you'll see one of them in there. And they're just typical old photo shots that somebody, not a professional photographer, somebody was just out taking pictures.
Sure.
And, knowing a lot of folks knew what I was doing, and they would send me pictures or to make copies of, or some up the Air Marine buildings in Keyport. I have a very large collection of information and photographs from Air Marine buildings in Keyport. That's where they built the first Benelli bus, one of the first airplanes that crossed to Cuba.
There was seaplanes.
A seaplane they built there. Yeah, yes. So many photographs of that area. I get them from anywhere I can get them. Postcards. I used to go to a lot of postcard shows and buy postcards and reproduce the postcards. Used to be a gentleman by the name of Mo Cucci, who was a very strong postcard collector. And Mo was a good friend, and he used to loan me some of his cards to make photos of, to duplicate. That's where they came from.
Well, let's jump into it. We'll talk as we go through. The first one here is the Mansion House in Keyport. Now you've got a before and after. Let's talk about the before. What was the Mansion House in Keyport?
It was basically a hotel. Years back, Broad Street in Keyport was called the Turnpike. It went up through Keyport, South Keyport, crossed Highway 35 into Hazlitt, Homedale Road as we know now, all the way up Hazlitt Homedale Road, through Homedale, Colts Neck, and to Freehold. That was the Turnpike years back. And when the farmers came down with produce to load onto the ships in Keyport, where the dock was, they had to have a place to stay over, and that was one of them.
Well, I'm fascinated with the before and after of old photographs, and you are lucky enough to have an after shot of this photograph. Not much has changed. I mean, there's still a lot of the distinctive architectural
Definitely.
Style is still here. This porch is gone, or this railing is gone.
Right, but the building, the structure itself is basically the same.
Now, do you visit these pictures to see what's there anymore?
I haven't in a long time. In fact, I have a lot of good friends. I post my pictures, as you know, on Memories of New Jersey Facebook site.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
And one of, or a few of my friends that see my photos, they all go out, like this one. And another John, he lives in Hazlitt, went down there after he saw this and took the picture of it now.
Wow, wow.
The next photo that you're going to look at, the old theater in Keyport, the movie theater,
yeah.
I took that photo about 20 years ago, the now photo.
Now, what is it now? It's no longer a movie
It's
theater.
In the back, it's a restaurant in the back, and I really don't know what's in the front there now. It used to be little shops, but I don't know whether they're there.
And look, even the house to the right of the theater.
I try to get, when I shot them, I always tried to get as close to the original picture as possible.
Right. Do you have any sense of what year this might have been taken in, or the era that this was? Was this the 40s?
You know,
there's a streetcar, right? Or
yeah, well, that trolley ran through.
Trolley
ran through Keyport, through town of Keyport.
So that'll give you a clue.
Yeah.
Do you like doing that sort of thing, kind of looking at a picture and trying to figure it out?
I'm not a historian, like I told you before. I'm a photo collector.
Sure.
So I don't have all of the details that I would like to have. There's some folks that know a lot more than I do about them, but I would date that the very early 1900s.
Well, you say you're not an historian, but you seem to be becoming one by default, Les.
Yeah.
Now, what's this? This is the People's National Bank.
That's one of the bank in Keyport. The bank is still there.
Yeah, yeah. Now, did you drive one of these cars when you? No,
I wish I had one right now. I'll tell you, they're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, that's nice. And then here's another Keyport shot. This looks like. Is this the same trolley car?
One
tracks?
of my favorites. Yes, that's the train trolley tracks. They ran through Keyport on down to Union Beach.
Yeah.
And the old West Furniture Building on the right-hand side of that picture.
Wow. And look, we have another shot, a better shot of the R. West and Company furniture. Well, now, what is oilcloth? Do you have any sense of what that is?
What you used to put on your floor.
Is that, and they sold oilcloth
Yes.
as well?
Yes.
Well, now, why did you put, now, I know you're not a historian, but why would you put oilcloth on your floor?
Well, linoleum now, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I believe you.
Yep.
And look, they had, they seem to have a delivery service here.
Yes, they did.
And look at those automobiles. My goodness gracious.
Amazing.
It is amazing. A couple of ladies, mostly men.
Yeah, Robert West, I can't tell you which one is in that picture. On the other, there's one other picture of the West. I mean, we may not have it up here. I can tell you the two West brothers were in it.
Well, you know, speaking of West, it looks like a Wild West building, doesn't it? I mean, it looks like this could be something out of some Western that Sam Peckinpah directed.
That was their building after the original building was uptown in Keyport, and it was around 1876 when they moved into Keyport with that building.
We should put in a plug for people who are actually put in a plug for you. If you have some historical photographs laying around and you'd like to share them, even to either donate them or to let Les make copies of them so we can share them with the world, we'd love to do that. You can contact this program or you can contact Les and we'll give information about that a little bit later. Okay, we're still in, this is Old State Highway, and this is the famous seafood restaurant called
Ye Cottage Inn in Keyport, which is no longer there after the Sandy storm.
Oh.
It weathered many a storm, but the Sandy storm, it was just too much damage, and it's just an empty lot now.
Now, was the fish sign there too, hanging on the?
Not on the building that just went down. No, they had removed that. I believe that the Keyport Historical Society may have that. Mm-hmm. I know they used to have one hanging out in the front
Wow.
That building was lost during the Sandy storm too. The historical
Boy,
society.
oh boy.
building.
You know, it's a shame because the Hurricane Sandy, there were all kinds of photographs that belonged to a lot of the historical societies along the Bayshore, and quite a few of them, their stuff was just plain lost in the storm. Isn't that sad?
Yes. Yeah. A terrible shame.
Now, what's
Terrible,
this? This
terrible
is,
shame.
what town is this?
This is Keyport, and
Okay.
this is Lower Broad Street in Keyport. If you look to the far right of the photo, you'll see the steamboat dock.
Oh, I
where
see.
the farmers used to bring their produce and load them onto the steamboats to be shipped over to New York.
And the Raritan Bay is out
Raritan
here.
Bay is
Yeah,
out in the
yeah,
back.
yeah,
To the left of the photo would be the single system laundry.
Yeah.
What I can remember as one of these buildings here, it used to be called years ago the Bucket of Blood.
Why?
It was,
Sounds pretty gruesome.
it was a rough place. One of the roughest places. in
Oh, was a
Keansburg, I
bucket of
believe.
blood like a bar or something?
It was a bar.
Oh,
it was a
my
bar. Yep.
God, a bucket of blood. That's
Yeah, it was a
terrible.
bar.
Look at this. This is terrific. And this is now we're going to go to Matawan, which is Matawan and Aberdeen are very close to Keyport. Keyport tends to be the first town that you see as
Yeah,
you get off of exit 117 of the Garden State Parkway. And then Matawan and Aberdeen are quite close to that.
They're a bit inland.
Yeah, a little more
from the
inland.
water, Keyport.
Although Aberdeen does have a nice beach, and I think Matawan maybe has a little sliver of it, but
Yep.
I'm not sure.
That's the old Matawan train station. That building is still there. It's not used as a train station. They built a new train station in the Matawan section, I believe, of Aberdeen.
Now I wonder, Les, a lot of these tracks are the right of way today is used as the Henry Hudson Trail.
Yes, a lot of them are.
Is this? Do you know?
No,
if no, it's
those.
not.
Those, I believe, to this day, are still in use.
Oh, the train track. So
Yes.
that's right. We have a train that comes in and then cuts over and starts going south
Right.
into Middletown and Hazlitt and there's
Yes,
a couple
and that
stations.
from there goes into New York.
Right, and this is 1906. It says
Yes.
on the wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's terrific. And here we are. Oh, look at this place. My gosh.
Yeah,
this is the
that
old
was
Dutch Mill Inn.
a place that most everybody in the area remembers. The windmill located on Route 34. I believe they called it.
Old Dutch Mill Inn.
Yeah, Old Dutch Mill Inn.
And a restaurant.
When that photo was taken.
Why- and that's gone. I
And
suppose.
that just, I think, within the last few years has been taken down, and I'm not sure what is in there. I'll be perfectly honest with you, but it's.
Boy, oh boy. Here's another shot of Matawan. This seems to be again. Is that a trolley?
That's a trolley track that
Did
goes down.
did every town have a trolley, or were they all connected, or
They're
what?
all connected, yeah. That went down. That was going down to Keyport.
Oh, I see.
Heading down to Keyport, across Highway 35, and then down into Keyport, like you saw the tracks in the Keyport photos.
Right. I wonder what that little circle thing is right there.
That was the fire on the fire building.
Oh, and it was like, was it a bell or
Yeah,
a thing
yeah,
where would
yeah.
somebody
Why
have
they
to
had it up
climb
there,
up
I
there?
can't tell you, but yes,
Well,
that's
maybe
what-
the sound carried better the higher it was or something. All right, now we're going to Union Beach. Union Beach was quite devastated by the hurricane. They're coming back. They're UB strong, as they say.
They're coming back. They're coming back strong. The down on the water, the damage was extensive. These were up on the highway, close to Highway 36.
Now these are some old gas stations. I don't know what the
they're long gone.
Well, you know, it's funny. My dad was telling me, he grew up in Highlands. He said, you know, that there weren't always gas stations. Sometimes the gas pump would be right on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And you would simply pull over to the side of the road, and you wouldn't even go off into some kind of driveway. You just get filled up right there on the side
You know
of
what
the
they
road.
used to say? Call those the good old days.
Yeah.
Well, there we are.
There you go. There you go. Okay, we're still in Union Beach, and this is sort of interesting. This is the different gas station?
Yes, it's
And then
also
there's a
Union Beach,
restaurant.
very close to Union Avenue. This photo and Highway 36.
Yeah. There's a little sign there. It's hard to see what it is, but it's interesting. Sometimes, do you when you get a new photograph, does your eye scan all the little things
Well, you know,
and
the
try
funny
to read?
part about the photograph is every time you look at it, you see something different.
Is that right?
You know, I go over them hundreds and hundreds of times, and it seems that each time you look at them, you pick something else out that you didn't realize or see the last time.
That's so funny. All right, we are still in Union Beach, and I'm enjoying myself here in Union Beach.
Now,
What
everybody
is this?
will remember that one.
What is it?
That was on Union Avenue, Union Beach, and you remember the photographs after the Sandy storm of a half of a house, half hanging. That was the original house.
Is this the Lorraine Hotel?
Yes.
I knew that because it says
Yes,
so right up
yes,
there. Yeah.
yeah.
Holy smokes.
And that was there for years and years and years, and it survived many a storm, but didn't survive the last one.
What a shame. You know, there were so many homes, historic homes, here in Highlands where I live and all up and down the Bayshore that just got wiped out. It was so sad.
Well, look at Keyport, the Keyport Historical Society building right down on the water on Front Street. Broad Street,
terrible.
Gone.
All right, let's go to Keansburg. Keansburg, look at this church. I assume is it still there?
Yes, the church is still there. Yes.
Well, you know, it's amazing, some of these churches. Now, you know, I don't know if you've been to Europe, but some of the churches in Europe go back, you know, to the 16th century. They're so incredible.
I'll tell you, for old churches, that was one of the finest looking churches around. And,
beautiful.
And to this day still is.
Do you know what denomination it is? I'm just curious.
That was, I believe it was a Methodist church.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at them out there. Wow, that's nice. Where are we now?
Carr Avenue in Kingsburg, New Jersey.
Wow, that is Keansburg?
Yep, that's Carr Avenue in Kingsburg. A lot of those buildings on the right hand side are still there. There's a few of them still there.
Holy smoke! Is that the
that's the water?
Is
down
that the Raritan Bay down there?
Yep.
My
yes,
gosh,
it is.
Look at that. You know, it's because even Highlands, Bay Avenue, there were shops up and down the Bay Avenue. And you know, you could just spend a day strolling the avenue and going to
through
those
Ocean
souvenir
Grove
stands.
today.
Yeah.
All of those shops in Ocean Grove.
They've done a marvelous job, haven't they, in Ocean Grove, and
Just
restoring
beautiful.
a lot of those great things. But this is one of those ones where you
can tell it's not as old as some of them just by looking at the cars.
Yeah.
It's probably the late 20s, early 30s.
Yep. Look at that, boy. That's nice. And now Beacon Beach, the lighthouse. Where is that located?
It's no longer there.
Oh, well, that's why I didn't recognize it then.
It's been gone for some time now, but that was a pretty important lighthouse there that let the people out on the water know where they were.
Now, where was this? Beacon Beach is where? Do you know?
You know, I don't want to.
Is it somewhere around between Port Monmouth and Keansburg?
No, it was. If I recall, Beacon Beach was right. You know, when you come down Carr Avenue to the beach, it was to the right. I believe.
See. Okay. All right. Well, if you disagree, send us a note.
Like I said, I'm not a historian. I wish I knew everything about every picture, but unfortunately, I.
Do you remember the Conover Light Beacon? The Conover Light Beacon.
Conover,
is now in Leonardo. It doesn't operate, but it's there on Leonardo Beach.
And it was two in Kingsburg, if I remember correctly.
Two.
Waukee or something like that. Like one of them.
Well, there was lots and lots of shipping. I remember there was even steamboats that went up the Navesink River and would deliver things to.
One of my favorite collections is steamers.
Oh,
I have a collection simply of steamers.
You're going to have to come back, and we'll have steamers for lunch, and we'll look at your collection of steamers.
Steamers that plied the local waters, and there were many of them.
Wow! Well, there was even a steamship dock up in Eatontown. They would take the Shrewsbury.
Sure. There was the Elbron, the Seabright, the Keyport. There was many local steamers.
What was it? There was one called the Seabird, wasn't there? Something?
Seabird
that came in.
We have many photos of the Seabird.
A lot of the great age of steamboats. A lot of the steamboats came to Highlands just filled with tourists.
Yes. Oh yeah. I try to post those on my Facebook site. The steamers every other day, at least one of them.
Now, what is your Facebook site that people can come and visit?
My Facebook site is Memories of New Jersey. If they type in up on the top of Facebook, Memories of New Jersey, it'll take them to that.
It is amazing how many Facebook groups there are, and even websites that just glorify, as well they should, the past with photographs. And again, if you have photographs or movies, would be terrific. Old home movies. I have some old home movies of Highlands that go back to the 50s and 60s, which I'm happy to share with you. But, I just can't find anything. And, some of this old film, it just deteriorates, especially the movie film.
Yeah.
Well, here we are in Port Monmouth. Boy, that looks like a country road.
Doesn't it?
Seabrook Avenue. Look at that. That's pretty
I
amazing.
mean, that's when all of the roads were dirt roads, and
Yeah.
it was horse and wagon or old vehicles, old cars.
I know. And look at this. Here's another one called the Lion's House in Port Monmouth. Now, do we know if this is still here?
I don't know for sure. I often, when I post those, I ask folks, is it still there? And hoping that maybe someday somebody will send me a picture of it if it is, so I can keep it with the original picture.
Nice. Boy, that's terrific. Do you think this house had central air?
If it does, it's just been put in there, that's for sure.
I think if the windows are open, the central air was provided from the outside. Well,
Yeah.
now we're going into Middletown, and a Campbell's Junk. Middletown is first of all a very interesting. It's
So many sections of it.
there's so many villages and so many towns inside of Middletown. It's a behemoth, I think.
Yeah.
But this is Campbell's Junction.
That impressed me because I rode through Campbell's Junction coming to your house today for this.
Oh,
sitting.
you did?
And I in the back of my mind, as I was riding through, I'm thinking, I know what it used to look like years back.
Yeah.
And that was the trolley station there, where the trolleys, one would be heading toward Red Bank, another one heading toward Keyport.
Wow.
But that was the junction for the trolleys.
Where do you think this was? Do you have any
Right, you know
sense?
where? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know where it is too. You've been down the road and passed it 100 times. So right as you go through.
There's
town,
a Dunkin' Donuts there
I believe
on the
there's
right.
a Dunkin' Donuts. There's a butcher shop.
Yeah,
there,
sure.
there.
Famous butcher shop.
In that area.
Okay.
That
Wow,
was the
that's
area.
interesting. Wow, look at that. And this is Middletown. This is the train station at Middletown.
That was the train station. It looks a whole lot different now than it did in that picture. But
Boy,
yes.
look at this gentleman up there with the waistcoat and
Yep.
the top hat.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, my
There was
gosh.
so many old train stations, unique and built much the same. They looked like Matterhorn train station, Perth Amboy, is a duplicate. You could flop the names on the top, and you'd think, you wouldn't know which one was which.
That's funny.
But that was an interesting old station. That station there.
Wow, look at that. Now, this is interesting because while this is a picture of Red Bank, it's the bridge. I forget what it's called. I'm thinking Miller Bridge, but I'm not sure.
I think it
it's
might
the
be Miller.
bridge coming into Middletown, and off to the right of this photograph, if you go through Red Bank and go over another bridge, you get into River Plaza and
yes.
Lincroft and where Brookdale
That's
College
an
is.
oldie. You can tell by the looks of the car.
Well,
Old
look at
old
the
Model T.
look at the road.
Planking.
It's a planking for this.
Yeah.
I've taken my little boat up here many times, and I guess what's the big hotel restaurant?
Molly Pitcher.
The Molly Pitcher. Do you think
Maybe
it was
the back
there?
of the Molly
Yeah.
Pitcher when that was. The Molly Pitcher's been there for a long, long time.
Yep. Now you've got something as we are getting closer to Highlands, New Jersey. You've got Navesink, and this looks to be a residential neighborhood.
Yeah, yep. I don't know a whole lot about
Yeah,
Navesink,
yeah,
and
yeah.
certainly there's been a lot of changes since that picture was taken. That's for sure.
I'll bet. Look at that. And then here is, as we move into, now Navesink is on one side of the Hartshorn Woods,
Right.
and on the other side by the Shrewsbury River is Highlands, New Jersey, and this is Highlands.
That's the old bridge.
Well, this
the
is
old,
the old
old bridge.
Now,
There's been two after that
is
one.
this the old railroad bridge?
Yes.
No, so this wasn't for auto traffic. This was just
Well, the section of it was auto. Yes.
Oh, was it? So
Yes.
this was before the $1 Million Bridge.
Oh yeah. Yes.
My gosh, look at that. My great grandfather had a tent down here, and this could have been it, where he sold food to the guys who were the boaters.
Very possible. That's
That
an old
that
one.
could have been my
That's an
great,
old one, and
yeah.
you can see the surf across the
Sure.
across on the other side, on the Sandy Hook side.
My
the
gosh.
restaurant.
Look at that. Okay, and the last photograph you have is also, I guess this is the Highland House Cafe. Now, you've lived in the Jersey Bayshore area, and what do you like about this area, Les? What do you like about it?
I it's hard for me to answer. I grew up in Keyport,
Yeah.
in South Keyport, a little town they called it Winkletown.
Winkletown.
It was called
Why? Do you have
Winkletown,
any
Mechanicsville.
Okay, yeah.
Same thing, place. But that's where I grew up, and that's where my heart still is. And if I had my way, I would move back there tomorrow.
Is your house still there that you grew up in?
That I grew up in? Yes.
Oh,
Yep, on Van Dorn Street in Keyport, across from St. John's Church.
son of a gun! And what did you enjoy about? I mean, what do you we're doing this program for folks who live in the Bayshore area, but folks who come from other parts of New Jersey and New York City. What can you tell them about this place?
Well, the only thing I can say is, it's a beautiful place to visit today as it was years back.
Yeah.
A lot of it has not changed. Towns like Keyport and areas in Middletown, and they just really haven't changed. And you can go back and you can look and you can see these same old homes that you're seeing in this picture, like the mansion house that we looked at a little while ago.
Sure.
Still there.
Oh.
Still there after all of those years. Many changes in many cases, but still there. And my heart is in this area. It's in Keyport, and it always will be.
Well, there's some terrific houses to look at as you drive through all of the neighborhoods. There's the Strauss Mansion and Museum in Atlantic Highlands, and we've done a segment on that. There's also the Spy House, which I believe is in Port Monmouth, which is, I'm not sure the technical name of the house is a different name than Spy House, but it has a history, and you can go through and take a look at that. Are you aware of any other houses where they give tours in the area?
No, other than, like back to Keyport again, where my heart is. Every year they run what they have, I think they call it a house tour.
Oh,
and
nice.
You can go and they take a tour through town to all of the old homes. There's an old home in Keyport that a friend of mine has, and I can remember him telling me about it, that there's a fireplace in every room, and every fireplace was built from brick, brought back by steamers to the Keyport dock from all over the world.
Holy mackerel.
The man's name that owns the house is Teddy Miller.
Yeah.
And I believe they call it the House of Octaves. They have different programs and things that they run there, but it's very interesting and a beautiful place to visit.
Well, will you come back and bring us more photographs from time to time?
I'd love to. Anything you ask for, I'd be glad to bring along with me.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you, and I hope people will take us up on the offer. If you have some old photographs,
get them to us.
Even if they're family photographs,
and if they're damaged.
Yeah.
I just did one of Tom's River that was almost destroyed when I got it, but right now when you look at it, it looks like a brand new picture.
My gosh.
That's the marvel of using computers today.
Terrific.
To take an old picture and bring it back.
All right, you heard it here. Get your pictures restored. This man will do it.
We'll try.
We'll try. Thanks again, Les. This is wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.